Hello guys, my name is Melbay Guy and welcome to my programming class. Today we'll be continuing with our sessions. So in the previous session, we learned how to perform operations on variables. So we created our variables, we stored values in, and we performed operations on those values in the variables. In this session, we want to take input from a user, store them in a variable, and perform operations on them. So in previous sessions, we have sessions. I've been releasing a lot of sessions, and in one of my sessions, we discussed we learned how to take input from a user, and in another session, we learned how to take input from a user and store it in a variable. So we've already done those things, taking input from a user and storing it in a variable. We've already done those things. So, and we've already done performing operations on variables. So with this, more like we are joining the ideas together. You get it? We are joining the ideas together. So if you've been following and if you've been writing notes and you've been doing lots of practice, as you learn, if you practice more, then you'll be able to understand this. If you're not able to understand this, then you have to go back to the videos, write notes, and practice them because of time, so I don't spend much time practicing with it. But when I teach you one example, when I give you one example and another example, you need to set your own examples and try them till you get it in your head before you move to the next videos. Don't try to get everything at once. You need to practice on your own. Try more examples before. So in this session, we learned that to take input from a user, we use a statement known as prompts. So when we pass this to the computer, the computer will be asking the user to enter something. So we use prompts to take input. And sometimes we are not aware of what the user is not aware of what to enter. So if we display just prompts, the user wouldn't know what to enter. So sometimes we pass extra information to the prompt too, so that the user will be aware of what to enter. So we bring a double quote inside the prompt, the bracket, and we say that enter first number, so that the user will be aware of what to enter. So this time we have enter first number. So now the user is aware of what to enter. Okay, correct. Then we also learned that you can take input from users and store it in a variable. So we can declare variable A, and we can declare variable A, and we can do what? We can take input from a user and store it in A by just writing this statement. A is equal to prompt, the whole of this. And so whatever we enter, let's say we enter 4, the value 4 will be stored in the memory A. So let's check the memory A. You can see we have 4 inside the memory A. So that's great. That's great. So now we know how to take input from a user and store it in the memory. That's all we need for now. So you have to always know how to take input from a user, store it in the memory, and the next thing is you have to know how to process those data you've collected. So this time, the way we want to process the data is we want to perform arithmetic operations on it. So we are going to take inputs, first input from a user, and a second input from a user. And we are going to store the first input in memory A, the second input in memory B. How do we do that? So let's clear the screen and let's do it. So I'm going to declare variable A, and I want to take input from a user directly. So during the declaration, I'm still taking inputs. I'm assigning data. That's why you can see we have the var A and this guy. Yeah, I told you it's a shortcut. If you've been following, you understand everything I'm doing here. You get it. You understand. So enter first number. You don't understand, it means you weren't really following well. You were just watching the videos. You need to take time. You shouldn't use just one day to try and grab all this. You have to take your time and grab it and do the examples. Set your own examples till you master it before you move to the next video session. Just because the videos are all available doesn't mean you just have to sit down and finish it all at once. You need to practice more than watching here. So we've done this already, and let's let's put the other one. So this statement, what happens when we pass this statement to the computer is the prompt here will ask a user to enter something, and whatever the user will enter, we are storing it inside the memory A. We need to pass another statement again because we need to take two inputs. So we are passing another statement that, and the other statement, what we're going to do, we are going to ask the user to enter a second number after entering the first number. We're going to ask the user to enter second number. And this time we are going to store what the user is going to enter inside what the memory called B. So the first time we take data and store it inside A. The second time we take data and store it inside B. So let's test it. So first time we are taking input, we are going to store it inside A. So tare, and we are taking a second input. So let's enter 5. So now let's check the memory A. Did it even work? Let's check the memory A. We have 3 inside. Let's check the memory B. Here we have 5 inside. See, so inside the memory A we have 3 inside. Inside the memory B, we have 5 inside. So we're able to take input from the user and store them in our memory. So the next thing we want to be able to do is we want to perform operations on the inputs that the user gave to us. So enter first number, enter first number, the user entered 5. Enter second number, the user entered 10. So what do we want to do? We want to perform operations on whatever the user entered. So we want to perform arithmetic operations on them. So we know that whatever the user entered is stored, the first one is stored in the variable A, and we know that the second one is stored in the variable B. So to perform operation on them, we can just say A plus B. We write this expression, A plus B. No, let's do A minus B first, because to do A plus B, we have to understand certain things. So A minus B is what? 5. So first the user entered 5 inside. How did we know? Let's check the content. Okay, there's 5 inside A. Let's check B. Okay, there's 10 inside B. So a user entered 5 inside A and 10 inside B. And 10 and 5 minus 10 is what? -5. You get it? So now we've been able to take input from the user and we are performing operations on them. So now we want to multiply the inputs, the user's input. So A times B will give us whatever the user entered times. So to multiply whatever the user entered. So whatever the user entered in A times whatever the user entered in B. The user entered 5 in A and 10 in B. So 5 times 10 is 50. That's why we are having our 50 here. You get it? So that's how we take input from users. And we know this is how we perform operations on them. But programmers, we are supposed to join these things to create applications. You get it? So you need to know how to take input, and you should know how to evaluate them or perform operations on those inputs. And you should also know how to display the result back to the user. So we learned that alert is used to display information to a user. So we use the alert, it's trying to say something to the user. Right now I say nothing because we didn't put anything inside to tell the user. So we just put whatever I want to tell the user inside the double quote. So hello user. And this time we see it's showing hello user. So we can use our prompt to take input from a user and we can perform operation on the inputs by using arithmetic operators or any operator available to us. And we can later display the results of the operation. So first, what we can do is we can store the operation of variables in another memory. So we are declaring another memory called C, and we are storing A minus B inside C. You get it? Forget about this guy. So we have a variable C, and we are storing the expression, the result of this expression. What's the result of this expression? A is 5, B is 10. How did we know? Because it was given by the user. We ran it. So when we get it, now we can say alerts. And we can put C inside here. And this time we'll get the results. -5 being displayed to the user. You get it? So that's it for this session. That's it for this session. We learned how to take input from a user by using the prompts. Learned how to take input from user using the prompt, and we store the user inputs inside the memory, and we perform operations on them. We perform operations on them. So we perform operation like a plus b, a minus b, a times b, and stuff. Okay, we didn't do a plus b, and the reason is I don't want to talk about it here. The reason why we didn't do a plus b. So maybe in the next session we will learn. We will explore more. So that's how we build a program. Look at how I built this program. Let me first clear the screen. Oh, let me clear the screen. Let me clear the screen here. So you see the program, I built a mini program. If you've been following, remember I built some mini program. Yeah, I want to go back to it. And this mini program takes a number from a user A first and takes another number from a user 5 and 8 and subtracts them. So we get -3. So that's something. I'm taking a number from a user, I'm storing it inside A. I'm taking a number from a user, storing it inside B. And what am I doing here? I've created a different variable or a memory to store the results of the operations that I'm performing on the variable. So I'm trying to subtract A and B, and I'm storing the result inside C. And here I'm printing the contents of C or the results. We get it. So that's it. That's basically how we build simple applications. So first of all, we take the input from the user, and we process it, and we print the results to the user, or we display the result to the user. That's the most basic way of building applications. So my application here, you will see I'm taking input from a user 4, and I'm taking another input from a user 8, and now I processed it and I display the results. So 4 minus 8 will give you what? -4. And that's my application. That's my application. So most times for when in the subsequent sessions, we'll be practicing more on taking input. We'll be building many applications. So we'll be taking inputs from users, and we will perform operations on them, and we will display the results to the user. You get it, like how I did here. Like this one, I am taking input from a user 1, I'm taking another input from a user 5, and I'm displaying the results. So after taking the input from the user and storing it in A, taking the second input and storing it in B, then I wrote an expression. I'm processing the inputs. How am I processing it? I'm subtracting the inputs, the data inside A and the data inside B. I'm subtracting them, and I store the results inside C, and I display the result. And that's how we build so many applications. So in the next session, we will use this idea to build a mini application. But in the next session, we are going to explore more. We are going to change the application a bit. We are going to spice it a bit. So this application performs subtraction on 2 values. We are going to build application that multiplies 2 values. You get it? And divides 2 values and adds 2 values. So in the next session, we'll be doing that. Thank you.